it's not often that we see history before our eyes, but there's plenty happening in our city too, right here in Sydney. If you want to remember Her Majesty yourself in church. Now, let's check in with Jonathan Elcock. He's the Parish Administrator at St James Church on King Street in Sydney, and he's on the line. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Chris. Good evening.
Wednesday evening, I believe, is when St James is holding what will be, I'm sure, a beautiful service.
Yes, we have a choral Eucharist on Wednesday evening. The choir will be singing Fore's Requiem, and there'll be representatives of the Parliament, the judiciary, and various other organisations, and many other parishioners and people who support us from Sydney and further afield over on Zoom and Facebook.
You held a service yesterday too?
Yeah, we've been saying prayers before our main Sunday services, and we were waiting until after the Queen's funeral to have a large event, and we've been busy planning for it since the day after the Queen died. The day the Queen died was pretty hectic. The emails were flying around amongst the office staff from about 5 o'clock in the morning, and with the clergy and our musicians planning the schedule, changing our services, and getting all the things together for celebrating the Queen's life and remembering her in a fit way.
Have you had much feedback or?
We have, yeah. We've had a lot of phone calls from many people wanting to know what we're doing. Well, the hardest thing was on the day after the announcement, because we hadn't really put anything into place. But as soon as we got a brief outline of what we were going to do, we were reassuring people that something was going on. We made sure that there was a picture in the church, candles that people could come in and light, and it was very reassuring that in the week normally we have a communion service at about 12:30 every day, and the number of people who attended increased over the last fortnight. So it's a sign that people were coming in and having a few minutes reflection and lighting a candle before they shot back to work or out to the shops. So that was a really good sign about people spending a little time thinking, maybe saying a few prayers and celebrating the life of the Queen.
I'm talking to Jonathan Elcock at St James Church on King Street in Sydney's CBD. How's your parish feeling at the moment? Because it's quite the loss.
It is quite a loss. People are sort of thinking, oh, this has disturbed us slightly. But I think one of the things that people keep commenting to me about is how swiftly things changed and moved into the new time of King Charles. The proclamation in Canberra, the proclamation at the Parliament House in Macquarie Street, and it was so very smooth, and we're not used to this at all. And it was just an amazing transfer of power happening, and I think it'll be, once this weekend's over, I think people will sit back and say, gosh, that was a very overwhelming time, and I think we may miss the Queen after this weekend comes over, because things have just been so hectic in the last fortnight, haven't they? I know it's been hectic for you.
And Jonathan, just before I let you go, can you give us some details on this service at St James's that you're planning for Wednesday?
Yes, St James King Street in the Macquarie Street precinct near the Supreme Court. There is a solemn choral Eucharist on Wednesday evening at 6:30, and the choir of St James will be singing the Requiem by Gabriel Faure, and our rector, Father Andrew Semple, will be preaching, and everyone is welcome. Also, the church is normally open between 10 and 4 every day if you just want to call in for some quiet time.
Good on you. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I appreciate your time.
All the best, Chris. Cheers, chap. Bye.
That's Jonathan Elcock from St James Church in Sydney. And a reminder tonight there'll be a special edition of 9 News from 6 p.m, followed by the funeral coverage.